Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I am talking all about viruses, specifically chronic viruses, and how to get rid of them or how to heal your viral issues. I've been getting a lot of requests for this, so I'm going to just jump on in. There are so many viruses out there. We come in contact with thousands and thousands, hundreds of thousands every day. Some of the main ones you might, hear all the time would be like the herpes simplex, Epstein-Barr, even Ebola virus that everyone's scared of, HIV. So there's a lot of viruses out there. Those are just some common ones. And a lot of people have viral issues or symptoms, and it really can be debilitating, whether it's fibromyalgia or Lyme disease, etc. So I'm hoping that this video will give you guys some insight into how viruses work and how to stop them and get rid of them, because it's possible. I know a lot of people say you just got to learn to live with these viruses, but that's not true. There are things you can do. So I want to start by saying that viruses are very opportunistic, and they only come out to roam in the body when you don't have a good environment. So a lot of times you will have herpes, you might have come in contact with HIV way in the past, or you have the Epstein-Barr, etc., but you don't get symptoms right away unless you have a bad environment. So a lot of times people will find that after a very traumatic event or very stressful event, or after they got super sick, they all of a sudden couldn't get better, or they all of a sudden had this viral issue. And it's not because they just contracted the virus then, it's because it was in their body, and then because they're opportunistic, as soon as their immunity went down and their body kind of, their nutritional stores and all that kind of went down, the virus was able to come out to play. So there are a lot of triggers. Usually if you have a lot of candida and parasites, or a lot of stress or major heavy metal toxicity, it's very common after, for example, vaccinations, or if you just use aluminum pans all the time and eventually there's just a trigger, or mercury amalgam fillings, or if you have acidosis, like your body's extremely acidic, low blood volume, low nutritional status, weakened immunity, autoimmune disorders. These are all common triggers that will create the perfect environment for viruses to thrive. So if you have one of these, or some of these, or all of these, that means your body is the perfect house for a virus, and it's very hard to eliminate them if you have that type of environment. So what we need to do is fix your environment so that the viruses do not have a nice house to live in, if that makes sense. So like I mentioned, you get symptoms when your body is really weak and when you're, I guess, at the weakest point. So like I mentioned, coming in contact with HIV today does not mean you're going to start getting symptoms and start noticing you have HIV. You can come in contact with it today and it does not affect you, and you don't know it at all until years down the road when you have a traumatic event like the loss of a loved one, or you just had a really bad diet for a long time, or contracted some sort of autoimmune disorder, and now your immunity is compromised, and now you have the virus is kind of left unchecked and can roam free in the body. So usually, like I said, when your body's weakest is when the virus will thrive. And that's why people sometimes will notice they get a herpes outbreak and then it goes away, and then it comes back and then it goes away, and they're told that you can never get rid of it. That's not true. It's just if it's flaring, it's probably flaring in a time where you're under a lot of stress, probably eating a lot of sugar, etc. So there's a few things you can do. You need to take antivirals, which are amazing and can be extremely powerful. You want to build and boost your immune system. If you have viral infections, you want to build up your immune system so it can recognize these viruses in the body and in the blood, and it can kill them for you. You want to avoid heavy metals like the plague, so avoid anything that could possibly contain heavy metals, whether it's makeup, aluminum pans, drinking water, etc. Get good water filters. Just really avoid heavy metals because they are a big trigger for viruses, especially Epstein-Barr. And then you want to get probiotics in your diet and in your gut any way you can. So I love walking outside barefoot, walking on the beach, gardening. I like just using your hands. Don't use gardening gloves. Just garden, eat local produce if you can from a local farmers market. Grow your own food. The best is grow our own food. I will pull carrots out of the ground, dust them off, and just eat it. You're getting tons of probiotics. You don't need to scrub them. So just get probiotics any way you can into your diet. And then another thing is that viruses will replicate themselves by embedding themselves into the cell, into your actual cells, and they will destroy or alter your DNA, which is what's giving you all these symptoms and giving you all these issues. For example, if you have HIV. So something you want to do is to get them out of the cell, you need to detox intracellular, and you need to really alkalize your environment and give your body a flood of nutrients and minerals so that it can pull these viruses out of these cells and prevent them from further destroying or replicating or altering your DNA. So something that I like is lots and lots of green vegetables, organic for sure, to avoid the pesticides, but also green juices if you don't have some major digestive issues. Green juices are absolutely incredible. Consume a lot of minerals, which will come from vegetables and green juices, but also supplement. Magnesium is huge. A lot of times you cannot clear these viruses from the body if you're deficient in magnesium because it's used for so many things. So magnesium and zinc are absolutely needed. Selenium, manganese is really important if you have heavy metal issues. And the list goes on. So get a good like mineral complex and take that as well. And then something that you can do is, aside from eating a really clean diet, aside from doing probiotics, you want to take antivirals and you want to really find ways to reduce your stress. So the more stressed you are about something, the more acidic your body's going to become, the more inflammation you're going to have, which means weakened immunity, and therefore viruses can just have, you know, a party in your body. So really keep your stress down. So a couple of my favorite antivirals, they are also antimicrobial. So these are great not only for viruses, but for bacteria, for candida, for parasites. There's a few. I'm going to start with probably the top that I think is most important, especially if you have things like Lyme disease or Epstein-Barr, and that would be Hydrosol Silver. So definitely if you're going to do a protocol, do it under the guidance of a healthcare practitioner. But Hydrosol Silver is absolutely amazing. It stops the viral reproduction. So the reproduction of that virus, it kind of puts it to a halt. You want real Hydrosol Silver, nothing with salt in it, just pure essentially silver and distilled water. And then what you would do is you would take it on an empty stomach, hold it under your tongue. This is very, very powerful for Lyme disease, very powerful for Epstein-Barr. Like I said, these antivirals, antimicrobials should always be taken with a practitioner because they can cause major die-off, which is not a good thing. It just means more inflammation. We don't want that. So if you already take these, always start at a lower dose, check with your doctor or practitioner. But what I was doing back in the day when I had any viral issues was I would start with like an ounce for the first week, 3 times a day. So you're doing like 3 to 4 ounces max a day, then slowly add in another ounce until I was at about 2 ounces 5 times a day, so about 10 ounces a day. So start around 3 or 4 ounces a day, or even less if you're super sensitive. Like if you're super sensitive with Lyme or super sensitive with Epstein-Barr, you might even start at just half an ounce. So everyone's going to be different, but start at a low dose and then slowly increase until you're doing about 10 ounces a day for a period of time. It sounds like a lot, but what you want to do is make sure you're just destroying that virus. You need to just completely change up that environment in your body. So a way to do that is just take a lot of antivirals. There is something you can do, intravenous silver or Hydrosol Silver, which could be an option if you have Lyme disease or Epstein-Barr. Of course, you will have to do it through a doctor. So definitely you can look into that. You're just pretty much getting it injected right into your bloodstream. So it's the best way to get it in. So that's definitely an option. Some other of my favorite antivirals would be, I don't talk about this one much on this channel, but it's Neem Leaf. So I love neem. I've been using Neem Leaf in the past for a good while when I thought there might have been a viral component to my issues, my autoimmune issues. So I was using neem. Always use neem leaf powder, not neem oil. That's different, a little bit more potent and doesn't have the same effects in my opinion. Neem leaf is amazing for digestion as well and fantastic for the liver. So it builds that liver back up and it stimulates it to produce more digestive enzymes. So you're getting a couple extra benefits there. But neem leaf is a powerful antiviral and it's good for candida, parasites, and bacteria as well, not just viruses. viruses. But what I did was, if you're doing like a powder, I just did about half a teaspoon. I started at half a teaspoon two times a day, slowly worked my way up to doing half a teaspoon 3 times a day. You can definitely do this with the silver. You can do it on its own. The more you do together, the more impactful this antiviral protocol will be. But that being said, you don't want die-off, so you might have to start really slow and just slowly add things in. But definitely neem leaf is fantastic, and you just do half a teaspoon 3 times a day, and that's pretty good. The other antiviral that you have heard me talk about a lot, and that I think should be a part of everyone's protocol, is N-acetyl-cysteine, so amino NAC. It's fantastic for the liver. I'm not going to get into liver benefits because that's not what this video is about, but you can look it up. It's amazing. But it's also a powerful antioxidant, so again, great for your whole body, but it has very powerful antiviral properties, and it's something that I always recommend people take, especially if they're on like a candida or parasite cleanse, just to prevent any viral issues. Candida and parasites release viruses as they die off, so this will help with that viral component. If you ever have candida and parasites, you almost always will have a viral component or issue as well. So it's always good to just address that, and NAC is great for that. And then the last one that I think is really powerful is oil of oregano. So this is something I don't use, and I don't really recommend to many clients with just regular candida or little issues here and there, because it's so strong that a lot of times it can kill off some of the good bacteria. So you want to preserve those as much as you can. So what I usually recommend is only do oil of oregano if you have major viral issues and you just got to tackle that. So you can take the oil of oregano with the Hydrosol Silver, with the neem and the NAC. You can do it on its own. You can start with one and slowly add in the rest, however you want. But with the oil of oregano, usually you'll do it 3 times a day. Make sure it's diluted with a carrier oil. Sometimes it's just a pure essential oil or whatever. That's too strong, so dilute it with something. But another great way, you can put it in a capsule if you don't want to taste it, but it's another great antiviral and a great way to really tackle these viruses. The thing with antivirals is that they literally destroy the cells of the virus, so they prevent them from replicating in the body. They prevent them from further damaging your cells and penetrating your cells. So viruses are smart and they are so opportunistic. They will adapt to the environment. So if you just kill them off extremely slowly, I mean, I'm not saying it can't be done, but they probably will adapt in that time that it will just become harder. So it's better to just knock them dead if your body can handle it. With these supplements or antivirals, you always want to make sure that you're not just taking supplements. You need to always support your liver. So liver and kidneys, so homeopathics or herbal supplements are going to be great. I have videos on how to do a liver cleanse. You're going to want to do that with this to make sure that whatever you're killing and fighting off is actually leaving the body through your liver and kidneys, out through your urine and your stool, rather than just recirculating. So you want to get toxins out, not let them sit in the body. So definitely liver and kidney support's important, and it'll also prevent any die-off. And then on top of that, you really got to look to your diet. You have to create an alkaline environment, and an environment where viruses can't thrive. So many nutrients you need to just push into your body, and the best way to do that is eating mostly plant-based. You can have some animal proteins, they're beneficial, just make sure they're organic, grass-fed, pasture-raised, etc., but mostly plant-based and raw if you can. Some people have major digestive issues, and I don't recommend going completely raw, but definitely get some raw nutrients in your diet because they're the most potent in antioxidants and minerals and enzymes, which is what we need. Alongside diet and eating lots of greens, things like sprouts and greens and salads and celeries and cucumber, aside from doing that, you want to make sure you're getting extra nutrients in. So I always recommend either liquid chlorophyll, chlorella, or spirulina powder or juice in your diet daily a few times a day to really push you to the alkaline side, to pump you up with lots of like iron and essential nutrients and minerals and magnesium, and to bind to any toxins that might be in the blood. And in the colon. And then you also want to make sure you're doing just a multivitamin, because vitamins E, vitamin A, these are all really important for supporting your body as it's getting rid of these viruses. B complex is super important. Definitely supplement during this time with the B complex. And then minerals, which I mentioned in the beginning, are a must. You can do a mineral like complex, or usually it's like a liquid, or you can just do supplements on their own, but I always recommend magnesium is at the top, zinc, manganese, selenium, even iodine. So it's probably best to just do like some sort of like mineral combination. And then on top of that, you can do with all of this, like I said, diet's great, green juicing, and then you can do the antivirals. So you can do the NAC, which you can follow the bottle directions for that one, whichever company you get, but it's usually like 1 capsule 2 times a day, which is fantastic. And then on top of that, you can do the Hydrosol Silver. Start with an ounce 3 times a day, and then work up to 2 ounces 4 to 5 times a day. And then on top of that, if you want to go hardcore, you can also do the oil of oregano 3 times a day. And then also do the neem leaf, half a teaspoon 3 times a day. This is a very hardcore cleanse, so most people will experience die-off, which is not a good sign. So if you are, dial it back. If you're very sensitive, like I said, if you have Lyme disease or major issues, you make sure you're doing this with a practitioner and start slow. Some of my clients had to start with like literally a 1/4 teaspoon of Hydrosol Silver, and that's it. So whatever works for you. Don't think that if you're just doing a 1/4 teaspoon of Hydrosol Silver or a teeny bit of neem powder that it's not going to work, because it will work for you if that's all you can handle. So listen to your body, but definitely do that. Like I said, take them all together or one at a time. These are very powerful antivirals. They will work. And if you have HIV, if you have Epstein-Barr, if you have, you know, herpes, anything like that, don't stress yourself out and think it's something you have to live with, because you don't. You can reverse it. You can combat these viruses. You can build up your immune system so that it can fight these viruses for you. You can create the perfect environment for these to die in, so that they don't have to thrive in the body. Watch your stress levels, and this is definitely manageable. So I've seen it with clients, with myself. I've been able to kill off viruses in myself and also help clients completely get rid of the herpes and anything else. So it can be done, and you just want to really watch what you're eating, watch your heavy metals, make sure you're not consuming them or getting them on your skin. Really get a good water filter, be hardcore for a period of time, get these things tackled, and you'll be fine. And then going forward, flood yourself with probiotics, lots of vitamin C, healthy fruits and vegetables, and eat as clean as you can so that you have a strong immune system, so that you hopefully won't ever have these issues again. But if you do come in contact with a virus, your immune system can handle it for you. So that's all I have for this video. I really hope you guys enjoy. I'm probably going to do another video specifically on the Epstein-Barr virus in the future, but I want to do a more general antiviral video, and hopefully you guys get a lot of good benefits from it. So thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. I love you all, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.